What's up, fight fans? As always, thank you very much for coming through. Much appreciated. Lucas Browne versus Dillian Whyte. Or should I say Dillian Whyte versus Lucas Browne. Obviously, this fight takes place 24th of March. Right off the bat, I wonder how ticket sales are doing for this fight. Because it's almost been sandwiched in between so many big fights, right? Obviously, we just had Chris Eubank Jr. versus George Groves. In a couple of weeks, we're going to see Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker. And in May, we get to see Tony Bellew, May 5th, Tony Bellew versus David Haye. So it's almost sandwiched right in between a lot of other big fights. And remember, when you're thinking about ticket sales, unless you live right next to the O2 Arena, you're not just talking buying the fight tickets, you're talking buying travel tickets, you're talking about food, the whole day out. So it's not just a case of, okay, yeah, it's 50 quid to watch Dillian Whyte. When it's all said and done, I guess a boxing fan going to watch a boxing match just outside their hometown is probably going to come out to about 150, maybe even 200 quid. So it's not cheap. So I wonder if it's going to struggle for tickets. Not because it's not going to be a good scrap, which I think it will be, just because there's other boxing fights that are probably bigger in terms of a casual audience than Dillian Whyte versus Lucas Browne. I don't even know what the undercard is. I haven't checked the undercard, but again, no one really goes to fights for the undercards as much anymore, do they really? It's all about the main event. All right, let's talk about the fight. It's a good fight, right? It's a good fight. You've got Lucas Browne, who's 25-0, a big knockout artist, and you've got Dillian Whyte, who's only lost just the once to Anthony Joshua, and I think has made improvements still then. I don't think, and I've said this on numerous occasions, I don't think Dillian Whyte's the best technical boxer, but I don't think he has to be in fighting Lucas Browne. I don't think Lucas Browne's a technical boxer either. I think a technical boxer could cause Dillian Whyte problems. I don't think Lucas Browne falls in that bracket. I think Lucas Browne almost is like Dillian Whyte, right? He's just a guy that will sort of bite on the gum shield and trade and throw punches. That's not saying that they both don't have some technical abilities. They do. If anything, I think Dillian Whyte could be technically better than Lucas Browne. I think Dillian Whyte's starting to mix it up a bit better now than when I used to see him in his earlier fights. And that's obvious. I mean, he's training better. You go and watch him on his Instagram. He puts numerous videos out of him strength training, of him hitting the bag, of him doing a bit of sparring, a bit of pad work, him lifting weights, him squatting. He's almost trying to create Dillian Whyte 2.0, and I think he's doing a good job of it. Right off the bat, I think Dillian Whyte will win. I think it'll be a good fight. I think Dillian Whyte is vulnerable. I think we've seen that in fights against Helenius. We've seen it in fights against Chisora. He even struggled to a lesser extent with sort of fringe fighters like Dave Allen and Ian Lewison. I didn't think he performed to his best against those guys. So look, it's a step up, I think, from Helenius. But Lucas Browne's been inactive, hasn't he? I mean, Lucas Browne had one fight in 2017. That was against Matthew Greer, who was 16-20. And obviously the fight against Shagir, which was his best performance in 2016. So that was one fight in 2015, one fight in 2016, and one fight in 2017. And that's just pants in it, to be honest. I mean, 3 fights in 3 years for any boxer is just really, really bad. We know he's had issues with PDs and that's kept him out of the ring, but you just feel like inactivity is going to be his biggest downfall in this fight. He's 38 years of age as well. It's a pick 'em fight. It really is a pick 'em fight. I think, again, Dillian Whyte's vulnerable. As good as a lot of people think Dillian Whyte is, you watch the Chisora fights and you watch the Helenius fights, and I think they're two good, don't get me wrong, they're two good opponents, but you see vulnerability there. And I feel like he's got to be careful. Someone like Lucas Browne, who can punch, 25 fights, 22 KOs, he can punch. And not only that with Lucas Browne can get off the canvas as he did against Shagir and still put in a performance. So you've got to be careful. But look, I think Dillian Whyte does win it. There are talks for Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I want to say I don't know if he deserves it, but I feel like you've got to do a bit more, haven't you? To get a heavyweight title fight. I know that they're easy to get now. I mean, we saw Hughie Fury versus Joseph Parker, but see, I want to see him in against someone before he takes on a Wilder. So I'm thinking of anyone within the top 10. So Povetkin, who most people have around 4 or 5, or Pulev, who people have around 5 or 6. Guys in and around the top 10. So for me, you look at someone like a Chisora. Chisora is a ton of top 20. Helenius, again, top 20. Lucas Browne, top 20. Maybe even someone like a Dominic Breazeale, and then you go on to face a Wilder. He probably will get a title shot if he wins, because I don't think Wilder versus Joshua happens until 2019. I really don't. I think there is talks about if Joshua wins against Parker, he fights Big Baby Miller. And if Wilder wins against Ortiz, there's an opening there for a fight. And I feel like Wilder, Joshua in the UK, and that's where it's probably going to happen, could be massive if Wilder comes over to here and smashes Whyte. If Wilder can come over here and do a job on Dillian Whyte, as in knock him out cold, which is very impossible, then Wilder, Joshua just becomes even bigger, right? It becomes even bigger. The UK public, who already do know who Wilder is, to be fair, will definitely know who he is if he beats up Whyte. Because Whyte will sell that fight. It will be a huge fight. And if he comes over and does a number on Whyte, then who knows? But first, obviously, Whyte's got to get through Lucas Browne. Again, it's a good fight. If I'm in the country, it's one that I do want to go to. I'm not sure I will be here. I think I'll be flying out by then. But it's a good fight. Who do you guys think wins? I'm going for Dillian Whyte. Because I think Dillian Whyte, like I said, is, I think, like Lucas Browne, just younger, fresher, and stronger. That's my opinion of it. In terms of skill set, I think they're both very, very similar. But I just think Dillian Whyte's just a bit better in every single department than Lucas Browne. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. Peace.